Hello, amazing, beautiful people. This is Milena. I missed you. How have you been? Thank you so much for sticking around, for continuing to subscribe to the channel, for liking my videos and contacting me. I was missing for a while. I kept saying, okay, now's the time to start again, and now's the time to start again. But I gave myself a nice long break. And I was thinking about what is the most important, most beneficial thing to share first once I start recording again. And it's funny because the information came in to share what I have been going through and the things that came up for me and the things that I transformed within me. And I was kind of having an argument, a conversation with myself. It's like, who wants to hear that? And who wants to hear the boring details of my drama and the stuff that I have been going through? But all of those things and the intensity that came with them was one of the reasons why I didn't record for a really long time. And then the resonance came in that, in fact, if somebody's bored, they don't have to listen to these details. I have prepared an important nugget, tool for you that you can use in your life. You may know that I had a really big move where I changed everything in my life that had been the case for 20 years. I got out of a really, really long relationship, entered a different one, moved to another country, left all of my possessions, and I was in a space where I had to completely recreate my life and my physical space and the relationships that was in. And there was very little that was left that was kind of stable and balanced. Everything was changing, or I was changing everything in my life all at once. And I decided to give myself a little bit of a break. And one of the things that I was proud of is having overcome a lot of things that within myself were keeping me imprisoned, especially to do with the relationship that I had been having. And I was so proud of myself that I had overcome and let go of some things, like being motivated by guilt and shame and not enoughness and all these things. And I'm happily and proudly getting out of that and entering into another relationship, only to find out how many more things I was still holding within, were active programs within me, so that they could just nicely explode in my face. And this is when my ego, of course, jumped at the opportunity to tell me that my life was a mess, that I wasn't nearly as wise or as empowered or as advanced, whatever that word is, as I thought I was. And that who am I to give people advice or tell them anything and give them advice on how they can create loving and supportive relationships when my life was a mess in that aspect. We go through moments like that. All of our programs that are active are going to manifest in one way or another. And one of the most common ways in which this happens is through our partnerships, the relationships that we have, because other players, those around us, help reflect certain things that we carry that are active within our field. And one of the biggest things that came up for me was that martyrdom of as soon as I was in a relationship, and it didn't matter if it was my daughter or my mom or my partner, I would immediately start thinking how I can support them, how I can take care of them and take care of every aspect, any and all ways in which I could support them. And I was overspending that energy. I wasn't taking care of me. Yeah, I might be doing my meditation or whatever, but it wasn't enough. And then I would feel like I wasn't supported, I wasn't loved, I was being taken for granted. And that's something that I've even talked to you about, and not really looking what is nurturing and nourishing and supportive of me and taking care of that, because it was my, and is, and always will be my responsibility to do that. I'm not the only one who's going through these things. And as much as I thought I was aware of it, in sneaky ways, it was still coming up for me. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, wasn't I done with that? I thought that I had processed that and worked it out. Well, as soon as the circumstances changed a little, here I was playing out that role again. And it was an opportunity to connect deeper within myself and recognize that I was still some sort of rejection and denial of me and all of the ways in which I needed to take care of me too. When I allowed myself to do that, of course, my capacity to do things for others increased. It didn't decrease, on the contrary. But without all the negative emotions. It was so interesting because I kept manifesting situations. For example, my partner would get sick and I would take really good care of him, and I would get sick and I would be ignored and unsupported. And of course, if you look at the surface level of things, you're like, what the hell? And we can blame the external ones, and we can blame our partners, this person and that situation. But on the second minute, we come to the realization, no. I'm the creator of my life, of my experience. I'm creating this. How am I doing that? What's active within my field? And one of the things that I'm working on is allowing to receive, allowing to be done things for, to be taken care of. I'm so good at supporting others, and when it comes to asking for help or allowing others to support me, no. It's so funny. I would ask my partner to do something for me, and the next 20 seconds before I'm finished asking, I go and do it myself. And then I feel bitter about it. Well, then I had been asking for all these things of, oh, I want someone who's more relaxed about this, and someone who doesn't pay much attention to that and doesn't react negatively to this. And I got it. Of course, I got exactly what I had been asking for. And I recognized, but that's too much. And then there needs to be more of a balance. Well, I'm sure that if I ask for that, I can create that too. But the thing is, the thing that I had been asking for, the things that I got, started bugging me, and I didn't like them so much. In fact, I was being annoyed and frustrated by them. I had become the person who reacts on the opposite spectrum of things. And I was having reactions that I disliked before when I was the receiver of these reactions. So all of those things, I felt like, well, I need to figure that stuff out before I can talk to anybody about anything, because I'm not qualified to share any of these things. So if you are having those thoughts, if you are having these experiences, sure, take the time to be with yourself and to figure things out. But one of the most powerful, potent ways in which we connect with each other is through our own personal experiences and how we've transformed and transmuted certain things. And the biggest and most important step is the awareness of what is going on. And I started writing these things down because there were such recurring themes. It's like, what's going on here? Why am I having so many coffees a day? What am I trying to numb myself from feeling? What am I not seeing here? What am I refusing to look at? And also waiting for that moment of perfection, of having figured things out, of having transmuted and transcended our programs, blah, 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 is based on the fake idea that there's some sort of a final destination, a point of perfection and workoutedness of things, beyond which growth stops. There's no more evolution, there's no more expansion. But such a space doesn't exist, because growth, expansion, evolution is eternal. And so are you. And so are all the changes that we're making and evolving. So are our beliefs, our truths, the way we see things. And there's value in every step of the way, in every experience that we have, and sharing that unique perspective that nobody else has, because they haven't exactly experienced things the way you have. But every single perspective that you gain enriches you tremendously. And this is why, finally, on one of the days that, again, there were messy things and situations and so much stuff came up to be looked at, I decided this time to push through and share in all my vulnerability and openness. And of course, I'm thinking I'm going to bore people with my personal details. Who wants to hear about what I've been going through? They're just here for the 5-minute video of a short, effective tool that they can apply in their life so that it can be easier, smoother, better. And I kept getting, no, you're going to have to make this one personal. And whoever wants to watch it can watch it, and whoever doesn't have to. And the thing is, all of the things that I share, the topics that come up, they're also personal to me. They're experiences that I have had connection to somehow. All the tools that I share with you are things that I have used more than once or twice or 3 times until I'm convinced that they have made a significant positive change in my experience of life. Because I know the chances are they will be effective and helpful for many, many, many others too. But it feels like I'm back in the authenticity and the vulnerability and the willingness to share whatever it is that is going on, because you're not alone. I'm not alone. Even today I was having a conversation with two of my closest friends and people that we work on a project together, and we were able to really strip down to the most vulnerable pieces of ourselves and share things that were coming up for us. And oftentimes we don't do it for fear that, oh, it's going to drag the energy down, I'm burdening people with my negative stuff, I should just process my own, the word, before I talk to anybody, I'm supposed to do it on my own. Instead of being dragged down by all of that sharing, a field and energy was created that it was extremely powerful and uplifting for all of us. And the amount of love and support and nurturing that we felt by doing that was tremendous. So much so that even now it triggers a really, really strong emotional reaction of gratitude, and how much love and support there is for us when we're willing to bring down our walls and that armor and share and allow that support to come to us when we need it. We are so much stronger together, and it feels good to be supporting each other, because by supporting each other we support ourselves. We're not separate. Every time we help and contribute to the upliftment, to the well-being of anybody in our environment, we help ourselves. These things are not separate. And now, to that piece of wisdom, like I said, that I want to offer you, that tool that we can use. And it's not so much necessarily a tool, but because there's a lot going on. Maybe the stuff is going on in the social, health, political circle. Maybe stuff is coming up with work, or in our financial affairs, or in our relationships. Whether it's intimate relationships, partners, children, parents, friends, doesn't matter. What we tend to do is we tend to focus on the external, on the situation, on the problem, whatever came, and feel a certain way about it, and try to manage, handle, tweak, change things in the external. But that's like going to a movie and start yelling at the screen that the movie's being projected on, that it needs to be different and that we don't like the movie. Where is that movie being projected from? Is that projector, sorry Orchid, that projector in the back of the room. And that projector is you. Me, every single one of us. What am I projecting? And yes, it could be the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions, but they're an after fact of our overall state of being. And I was shocked. There's a little meditation that I use when I'm in a situation that starts getting really heated, somebody's super triggered or I'm super triggered and things are really going south. I go within, and it could be just like 30, 45 seconds, if you will, if at that time I don't have time for more. And I'm saying I don't have time because we always have time if we choose to make it. But 45 seconds, I say certain things, and I'd be happy to share them with you. I learned them from somebody else. I go within, I do these things. These are certain codes that activate certain remembrances. And then I re-enter that situation, and my experience of it is completely different. And it's incredible. And the more I test it and the more I use it, the more that happens. So that piece of advice that I wanted to leave you with is to not waste your time and your energy yelling at the screen and what is being projected on it. But really, really go to the projector, go within, and work with the internal. What's going on within me? What is my inner state of being? And you're like, how does that have anything to do with the political system? How does that have anything to do with what's happening in the health sector? How does that have anything to do with how my partner is reacting to me? It has everything to do with it. Because when you go and you focus on the projector, on the external world, your experience of the so-called internal reality will change significantly, to the degree sometimes where you won't be able to recognize it as the same thing at all. when I was looking at the beginning of the year, for example, what is one piece of wisdom that I can share that will make a significant change in how we experience life for the year? Because in January I used to like how to have a productive year, blah blah blah, and whatever, the most supportive year. And I kept looking and looking and looking and looking, and it was like, stop wasting your energy on fighting with the external circumstances in the world, whatever is going on, and really, really, really go within. Recognize yourself as that projector that projects everything that you see on your screen, and work with that. Get yourself into a state of being. Your thoughts, your programs, your beliefs, what you are sending out. And that's when what you're seeing on the screen will seem very, very different to you. We can always change what we're projecting. It's just a tiny little tweak here that can have immediate changes. So if there's one thing that you can remind yourself of when the intensity on the outside is high, you go and say, I'm the projector. What would I like to tweak in that movie that I'm seeing right now? And how do I get myself, what is the state of beingness that corresponds to what I want to see on the screen? It doesn't even have to be like a clear thought or an idea, but simply a feeling. Grab it, allow it, hold on to it, cultivate it, get up, and go and experience a completely new movie. And I would absolutely love, love, love to hear your feedback on how you experience that if you choose to test it. Nothing, not your partner, nothing else outside of you is relevant. Just go within, and manage that internal world, because only you are in charge there, unless you want to give that power to somebody else, which oftentimes we do. Thank you so much for sticking around and being with me, because I have felt your presence and your support back as I was going and still going through some of these things. But if you do need more help figuring out exactly how to tweak your projector and to be fully in charge of that internal projector within you, you can always book a session at askmilena.com. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so below. Click on the bell so that you can get notified of all future videos. And hopefully I'll see you next week. I love you. Bye-bye.